The golden age of strength and power dominated our silver screens. When our heroes began to fall, one stood up against all odds. But this was no mere man. This was an Amazon, a demigod, the only daughter of Queen Hippolyta, Princess Diana, our Wonder Woman. With the beauty of Aphrodite and the strength of Athena, Wonder Woman pulled DC out from the shadows of despair. But all heroes must meet their end. I'm James Hockenjos, and this is The Rewind.
Fasten your seatbelts. It's going to be a bumpy night.
Hey guys, this is Jimmy, and you're listening to The Rewind, presented by House of Havoc Podcast Network.
Your scientists are so preoccupied with whether or not they could, they just start to think, shut.
Never tell me the odds.
The Rewind.
The Rewind.
The Rewind.
It's showtime.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to House of Havoc presents The Rewind. To my right, Gage Zangi. How you doing?
Fantastic. What's with the pen?
I don't know. It was just on the table. Yuck it. So, we got Emily in the booth.
Hi. Sorry.
So,
forgot you were going to talk.
She forgot this wasn't she forgot this wasn't Parlez-Vous, and that she is a personality on this show. She's not a ghost in the shell on this show.
No.
That's not the only thing that's going to be different about this show. Typically, this show, we do movies that have been out for years that we love, or that well, they're typically movies we love. We don't really, we haven't done one that anyone hates yet or plan to, but movies you watch, once a year or more.
Yeah, it's kind of been like a fan.
Yeah, well, why? I'm not going to sit up here and talk about a movie I hate.
Yeah.
It's
been like a long...
This is for our enjoyment
and
the fans' enjoyment. I mean, I could give you... So, today, we're doing a movie that was just released on December 25th, Christmas Day, the long-awaited Wonder Woman 1984.
What's it, Christmas Day?
It was released on Christmas Day.
Oh, shit.
We watched it on Christmas
Wasn't
night.
Soul also released on Christmas Day?
I believe so, yeah.
What a wild,
And
contradicting film night you could have had between those two.
Didn't see Soul yet.
Ooh, goody.
Boy, was this one bad.
This one was interesting. I don't know. Are we jumping into things?
No. We're gonna turn it over to Emily right now to give us the background info on the film. But I just wanted to know right off the top that this might be the one and only episode of The Rewind when it's 90 minutes of this movie. Was bad.
This is The Rewind. I forgot.
Once again, we're on The Rewind, Emily, presented by House of Havoc. It's me, you, and Gage. Two of you have film degrees. We're here talking about films.
Listen,
AKA.
Typically we don't do this after a day of work, and the day of work I had yesterday was not so great. I'm still recovering. I'm still recovering from this movie, to be fair.
It was a rough one.
I'm not okay. Okay, I'm just gonna jump right into it, and we're gonna pretend that I know exactly where I am. Director was Patty Jenkins, writer Patty Jenkins and Jeff Johns. Cinematographer was Matthew Jensen. Editor Richard Pearson. Music was Hans Zimmer, who he said he retired from superhero movies but just keeps making them. The cast was Gal Gadot as Diana, Chris Pine as Steve Trevor, Kristen Wiig as Barbara Minerva, Pedro Pascal as Maxwell Lord, Robin Wright as how was he pronounced her name? They didn't say it in this movie. I think it's
who?
Robin Wright.
Which character?
Oh, wasn't she the
something?
It's antagonist?
No, she's the aunt.
The aunt. Yeah, in the beginning.
Yeah, but I forgot
how
to pronounce
you
her name.
cheated.
Yeah, it's like
bitch.
Antipo or something. Something like that. Oh, whatever.
Oh,
are you saying like dies? A Joseph Campbell phrase?
Her name. Her name, Gage.
Got it.
Yeah, I don't know her name.
I don't know that.
I don't know her name.
Moving on.
I'm going to have a lot of questions.
To be fair, she's dead. So
is she dead?
She dies in Wonder Woman.
Well, the first one, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I forgot.
It's a flashback scene.
Yeah.
She dies in Wonder Woman, and when you die, That's it.
Anyway,
You're wiped
we're
from the
gonna-
chronological.
We're gonna move on from that one. Connie Nelson is Hippolyta. Lily Aspel is young Diana, and I had to put her in here because she's just so adorable, and I think she's so good as young Diana. And then of course Linda Carter as Asteria. The runtime was 151 minutes, 2 hours and 31 minutes, which to me was 2 hours and 31 minutes too long. Rated PG-13. Release date was December 25th, 2020. Budget?
302 million.
No.
185 million.
No, 200 million.
The price is right, bitch.
No.
All right.
There is a box office number because it was a global release. There are theaters that are open. So any hits at that?
50 million.
No.
12.5 million.
No. Way higher. It is a DC superhero movie. It's 118.2 million.
I didn't know where people were going to see movies in the theater.
No.
Jersey.
No.
Really?
Not just in the US.
Everything but
This is-
like New York and California.
No. This is a
What are you doing,
worldwide.
Mom? Let's go catch something
Go to
in Jersey.
Oh.
Yeah.
okay.
This is a worldwide number. So it's
No, I got you, but I'm just like
I wouldn't be able to give an example.
the
of
UK
how
just went
worldwide.
into their third lockdown, and they
New
went.
Zealand's open, Sweden's open,
New
Norway's
Zealand's
open.
giving like $12 on the best movie.
Um,
Let's be real.
I don't know about France right now. Italy's no.
No, the entire.
France, I think,
all-
is shut down.
France, I think, is shut down again.
They're all shut down.
No, they're not.
I thought everyone in Europe was
I
shut
don't know.
down.
What's Russia
Definitely
doing?
the UK for sure.
UK is shut
Russia
down.
had Siberian tigers in the streets keeping people in their house 10 months ago. They literally let
Honestly,
tigers. free.
COVID or not, I'd be like, so are they shut down or what?
Any filming location ideas?
Yes, Canada.
No.
Fuck.
Ah, fuck. I was gonna guess Vancouver.
Yeah.
Can I ask if it's American?
Sure.
Is it American?
There are some that are American.
Um,
DC.
Well-
Yes,
All right.
it's one of them.
yeah, I mean DC seems like the obvious
Yeah.
one because it takes place in DC.
Right.
What about fucking Mary-Kate and Ashley? What's the one in New York? A New York Minute.
I imagine
That's
at
what's
least
not filmed in New York.
a New York Minute.
Fuck those guys. Fuck girls.
Soundstage in LA,
Yeah,
Yeah.
somewhere.
which
with a
is
fake
what
Times Square.
Some of this definitely had to happen on a soundstage in
And
LA.
fuck.
No, actually-
what's Sam's name? Sam from Supernatural.
Oh, Jared Padalecki.
Yeah, Jared, you had a say in that movie.
He had no say. He was
He was a love interest.
He
He
did
had
not
a
have a
say.
say in that movie. Are you kidding me? He barely had to say what coffee he was gonna get.
Never seen it.
No, you're gonna sit on the apple box over there. Go fucking take a
Oh,
seat.
actually, you know what? We don't need the apple box for you. You're tired. Everyone else needs the apple box around
Yeah.
you. Locations were UK, Spain, Washington, D.C., and Virginia. UK was a sound studio. Spain was for all the Egyptian locations. And then everything else was shot in the U.S. Camera?
Panavision.
No.
Fuck.
Are you over on cameras in the show?
No, well, the first time, no, on Gangs, I set a 35 millimeter film camera. I think
No, you did
I claimed
nail-
the wrong camera. I said like the RE235 and it was the 435 or something.
Yeah, but you did get like the brand right.
Yeah.
But I didn't know, but they had like 4 or 5 different REs, so I didn't write them all down. So you may have been right on one of them. That's what I'm saying to you on that one.
So
Got
Gangs
it.
New York, you were probably right about.
Yes.
Yeah.
Other than that, probably not.
I don't think so.
For being a camera guy, it's
How the fuck are you gonna tell the difference?
I can't tell the difference. I don't
Oh.
claim to be a camera guy.
Dude, I claim to be. Eat me. You're not gonna tell the difference on these. Like, I mean, most of it's done on the computer anyway. So how about that? Macintosh? I don't know.
It was an Reflex 235, 435.
Bet you it was edited on Apple.
Probably, according to SVA, that is the
Bet the house
Industry
on it.
standard.
Yes, and
Equipped
IMAX.
with Avid.
Fuck
Oh,
Avid.
IMAX. They shot IMAX. This
Yeah.
is all filmed now? Look at them.
Apparently, I mean, it seems like
Patty. Who's Patty? What's her name?
Jenkins.
Patty. What is Patty directed? Can we? You keep doing you. I'm gonna.
Besides Wonder Woman, I mean, she's set up for Star Wars.
Did she?
Yeah.
Or is she?
Yeah, what is it? Rogue Squadron or something like that. One of them.
Rogue Squadron is a video game.
One of the new shows or movies coming out in
Oh,
Star Wars. She's
I don't
set
know.
up for.
You know more than me. The
Patty
only one I know that's coming out
did-
is Kenobi.
No, they did a whole lineup of announcements.
No, I know, but I didn't read them.
Oh,
I
okay.
just saw 10 Star Wars, 10 Marvel. I was more interested in what Marvel's rolled out.
Oh no,
She did 2 episodes of Entourage, 1 of Arrested Development, and some TV movies that I'm not familiar with, unfortunately.
no. I think Wonder Woman was like her first big thing.
The first one.
And
Yeah.
boy, did you blow it, Patty.
No, the
Oh, the
first,
first
Wonder
one.
Woman.
The first one was
Oh,
great.
the first one was her too.
I thought it was
Yeah.
great, but
First one, I mean,
In
great.
comparison to what DC's been producing, Wonder Woman's great.
it was as far as DC's average, it was.
I mean,
and
but
as
I
far
still
as the comic
like.
book movie average, I think it was on par or below.
I
No,
think it was on
I'd
par.
say on par.
I think it was on par with average, but it's a groundbreaking moment, and I always thought, even watching this one of the only positive takeaways that I took away from this movie is that it's got to be really cool for little girls, right?
it was really cool for me.
Because but like how many you didn't see that when you were 10 when we were going to see
No.
superhero
That's
movies?
my point. Is like I've been a Wonder Woman fan since I was a little girl. I used to watch the Linda Carter Wonder Woman, So and I used to read the comic books. So for me, when Wonder Woman came out and it was good,
She likes Wonder Woman enough that she felt
compelled to tattoo it on my
Yep.
hand. Exactly.
thank you for completing the sentence.
Yeah, I do have it tattooed on my hand. That one almost got me thrown out of my house, but it's fine. We're still there. So,
Being wonderful. And finally, a woman. Look at you.
Oh, look at that. No, but yeah, I did. I remember when this movie, the first one came out, it was a big deal because it was like, this is the first time we're seeing Wonder Woman on the big screen. This is the first time we're seeing it done like really good. Like it was a good movie. I mean, you can't say like, yeah, okay, it wasn't perfect. Of course not. But for DC, who was producing complete gutters, I mean,
It was
my
a good
God.
movie. It was definitely a good movie. It's one of the better DC movies that they've made
Yeah.
in like this in the
Mhm.
DCEU era. We argued about it then. We're not going to argue about it now, but we're still going to disagree about it. I think Shazam is a better movie. I think Shazam is the best movie they've put out. Wonder Woman's too. And then I think Birds of Prey, and after that it gets real rough. Man of Steel was okay.
I thought Man of sorry.
And I think
haven't
even-
seen Shazam.
That's the best one.
Shazam's very good. It's
Yeah.
really good. Yeah. No, it's really, really good.
I mean, you got Dark Knight up in there. And I
Well,
think
Dark
that
Knight,
deserves-
though, is not in
I'm
this
only
universe.
talking DCEU.
Yeah, Nolan had it. That's standalone. Nolan's come out and said that. that's not
I'm on the
continuity.
record. Dark Knight's
okay.
the greatest comic book movie ever made.
You haven't seen Blade 2?
I have seen Blade 2. Love Blade.
Yeah.
Blade 3 is one of my favorites. Blade 3 is
Do you
on my
think Blade
list.
3 is better than Blade 2?
I don't know if I think Blade 3 is better than Blade 2 as a movie. I think because of the age I was when we watched them, Jessica Biel is in Blade 3 and not in Blade 2.
Good points. All right.
But this isn't about Blade 2 or 3 or The Dark Knight. So we're going to bring it back in. We're bringing it back in and we're giving it back to Emily.
Well, I mean, the last thing I have is awards, and obviously there are none yet because it's too early to
So-
tell.
Are we going to give our piece on this stuff now?
I guess, yeah.
Quick piece on the cast. Here's a list of everybody who did well. Pedro Pascal. That's it.
What about the little girl?
The little girl did good. She's in the movie the first 5 minutes.
Yeah, I know.
That too. Listen.
Pedro Pascal.
I love Pedro
What-
Pascal.
dude,
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 he's great in everything I've
If
seen him in.
you
It's
are
amazing.
just like in theory, right? If you only get 5, 6, 7 like Oscar-worthy performances,
Yeah.
if you get that many shots at it, to waste one on this is truly, truly tragic, dude.
No, I mean, he's consistently good.
Blew
I mean,
one of
He
your
is.
him in Narcos, fucking awesome.
No, he's great. He's
Obviously,
amazing.
The
Game of
Mandal-
Thrones was like
Oh, well.
one of the best characters in
I've
that show.
heard good things about him on Game of Thrones.
Man,
Game of Thrones is amazing. Yeah,
holy
he
shit, was I upset when
Yeah,
I was more upset when
I've
he
heard the
died than
fight-
any other
I've
character.
heard the fight scene when he dies is one of the best scenes in the entire series.
It's the most
it's-
tension. Like,
It's
I don't know.
arguably one of the best fight scenes in television.
you were able to love that character as quickly as you were able to hate Joffrey.
Yes.
That's fast.
Yeah, he was. I mean, he's even amazing in Mandalorian. You don't ever see his face.
I haven't seen Mandalorian.
He is amazing in The Mandalorian.
Is he
when
the
you can-
Mandalorian?
He
he's
is
the Mandalorian.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
Look at that.
So you almost never see his face.
Ah,
But
Once in season 1, twice in season 2.
do we see it in season 1?
You see it at the very end. Very end of season 1.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Because
that's
he's
right.
dying.
whoa.
Well, Whatever,
was never gonna
dude.
watch
Spoilers. It came out a year ago.
Oh, you could have
It's
you
true.
could have diverted me there on so many different ways.
It's a year old.
Bad guy award. Stop talking about it. Move on.
Yeah, honestly, like this movie really destroyed me. I didn't handle it well. I didn't handle Wonder
0
Woman.
to 10.
I feel like I'm just gonna give a 1 for showing up. Like I'm not gonna lie.
Yo,
The
no,
next-
yeah, right, like, It's
Oh
got to
my
be
God.
really big. Like 0 is impossible. It's like
Yeah.
it's like you put your name down on the SAT, you get a 250. So
That's how I feel about it. You
So-
showed up, so you get a 1.
So assuming that zeros are impossible, throwing Pedro Pascal's performance on top, I give it a 2.1.
All right,
And I think
guys.
I'm being generous.
Swag me out. I was pretty big potato when I watched this movie. And I sat down and I go, hey, aside from the opening scene, which fucking crushed me, I was like, this movie's gonna suck. I hate that shit. Like, oh, let's fucking do this thing. Not to mention that little girl doesn't play a good young Gal Gadot. I don't know who told her she should be.
I thought she was adorable.
Oh, she was great and probably a wonderful actress. I'd love to work with her one day, but she does not have the same accent Gal Gadot has. So-
No.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
I think
that's
there was
fair.
a
Okay,
casting
if you're gonna say
accident
that.
there.
Okay, that's fair. But also,
Not to mention,
Same girl from the first one, though, right?
I think it might be. Yeah.
Same girl from the first one.
sure.
Same lack of an accent in the first one.
yeah. Now, I'm sorry, I don't know Wonder Woman's backstory, but does she have powers aside from the rest of her people?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so the origin story of Wonder Woman is that she was made from clay. That Hippolyta.
I thought it was going to be something so much cooler.
No, well, I mean, yeah, it's not really that cool. This is also
She's-
1941. This comic came out.
Okay.
So, or 42.
She's basically a
1941.
living weapon.
So pretty much what happened was, her mother was the queen of the Amazonians, and she desperately wanted a daughter. Obviously, the only way you can have a daughter is by having a man on their island, and they didn't. So she built a daughter out of clay and prayed to the gods, and the gods blessed her with a daughter. In later comics, I forget when this comes
Oh, she was
around.
built in Avoclay.
Yes.
That's the name of a place. I thought you said she was built out of clay.
No, she's built out of clay.
Oh, okay. Carry
No,
on.
like literally out of clay for
Yeah,
sea
yeah.
clay.
Yeah.
Like so, when that sand condenses and creates clay, she's built out of that.
Yeah, and then
On the
Patrick Swayze was just there.
I don't know if
Working
this.
with that.
I don't know if this also needs to be explained to you, but they don't fuck with men. There's no
Yes,
men.
there's no.
I know
men.
that there's no
Oh,
men in
yeah,
Themyscira.
Yeah. Okay. So in later comics, I forget when this. I know this is definitely in the more newer ones. Like the New 52 had this way. I think it came in the 80s that Hippolyta and Zeus had an affair, and that Diana was Zeus's daughter, so she's a demigod.
Yeah.
So that is the route that the movies have taken: is that she is a demigod and
Oh,
she is Zeus's
got
daughter.
it.
Well,
So this
the
is
new,
kind of
the
taking
new
a shift.
52 is the baseline for what everyone's going off of now. The new 52 is the
That's what I thought. it
That's
was.
like what
Yeah,
the characters
so
are.
that's
the new
what this
52 is the
So-
retcon that everyone accepts.
So nobody else in this place like runs fast or could have super strength or
No. They are. They're superhuman. They're all superhuman.
Can they run as fast as she can and shit?
No, she is the top tier.
She's the alpha.
She is the alpha. She is the fastest.
Because
She is
I
the
was like,
strongest.
if
She is-
everyone is like this right now, and then they did that like dive into the water and then get onto the beach and run to the horses, I was like, one, they're all running mad slow. Two, they could run faster than the horses can. So why the fuck are they taking horses anywhere? But if that's not the case, then
well,
I retract
it's,
that
It's
thought.
but that's also competition, and like that's also like
It's like a triathlon.
yeah, like and there's
Riding the
I
horse is
get
a
it.
skill.
It's a
right.
skill.
It's a skill because you can fight on combat. You know, like you're at a higher advantage on a horse. Like in terms of the gods, like the gods have a connection. The horses have a connection to Poseidon and the god of the sea, and they're on an island. So there's a lot of factors as to why like that stuff is that way. So I wouldn't look too much into that. But yeah, she
I
is.
call bullshit, but that's
She is more superior, and that's also kind of the point too. Robin Wright is trying to make, where it's like, give it time because
Yeah.
you're gonna be there.
like don't cheat because you're just better.
Yeah, exactly. Like even in cheating, like like it's just you're still
Yeah.
superior to them. You should have had no chance at even competing with these elite athletes, and yet here you are,
Yeah,
pretty much me
like you
dragging
just
out.
schooled LeBron James basically.
Pretty much, yeah. It's like my 4-year-old nephew.
More
schooling-
like LeBron James being 14 years old, playing with a bunch of average NBA players. But men.
How old was she? She was like 8.
she's
Yeah,
a
but
young girl.
the comparison is more than them schooling LeBron would be her being LeBron at like 13, playing basketball against 5 grown men who are average in the NBA. That's more of the. She's the prodigy
I
that's just
saw,
young,
Like,
and then they're
I saw the
average elite.
Oh, are they? I thought that they were like some top athletes. doing
No,
some
they're the
crazy
elites.
competition.
They're the elites.
Alright.
They're Olympians. That's if this was the Olympics,
Yeah,
they
but
would
I
be
mean-
Olympians. These women.
To make the LeBron comparison,
A lot of
that's the-
Olympians are average basketball players. Let's be real. Now,
Okay.
now
Moving on.
from the first scene, and this
Score
is where
it.
my dog
Score
You
it.
didn't score it yet.
What?
Score it.
Score it. I'm moving on. Trust me. Moving on from the first scene, and this is where things get interesting because I'm watching this, and I'm like, oh, it's set in the 80s. Okay. So they're doing all these like shots of like 80s stuff
Malls.
and retro stuff in malls and people dress the way they do.
Pink.
And then they play the first scene, which I didn't take as corny. I kind of liked it.
The one in the mall.
Yeah. I kind of
I
liked
kind
the
of
whole
like the. I
thing.
kind of like the.
The
mall
cop came out going freeze and held the gun like this with a wide stance and just and then the whole fucking scene with the ending with the bad guys falling out and on top of the police car and the cops surrounding them. I was like, shit. They know what they're doing. Dee turned to me and said, this is like a kid's movie. And I said, yeah, because they have to. And this director took it and made it corny on purpose. This is fucking genius. She's shitting on it. So I was really into it for a good portion of this movie.
I had no problem with the corniness of it. I had no problem with the first scene. Actually, I really like the mall scene.
I like the first scene.
I
I like
yeah.
the introduction of, what's her name?
Cheetah, Barbara Minerva.
Yes, for the same reason. I liked that weird fucking moment Pedro Pascal had when he saw the stone and then he did that weird creepy smile. I was like, oh, this is just feeding into the corniness.
So this is my problem with it, is that like where there are moments of clarity where I was like, oh, okay, like I see the potential here. Yeah, absolutely. When it first started, I was like, oh, okay, wait, this might not be as good as the first one, but there's potential here. And then it just like a sad, life, it just got worse and worse.
It did get worse and worse.
It's
It
just-
started
I
taking
was-
it started taking itself way too seriously.
I
There's
was
so many
all in
problems.
on the mall scene. Mall scene, I was all in on. Loved it. Only critique, we kind of just saw this with Stranger Things. No,
I kind of did feel
we
that.
kind of just saw the whole Stargate Mall. Stargate Mall.
I
Right?
don't remember which mall.
Yeah,
no,
but,
that the name of the mall in
yeah, but
Stranger Things.
can't-
Whatever. Pretty sure it was the Stargate Mall.
Might be. I don't remember.
We just saw this whole deal with that. So that was the only thing where I was like, this would have probably been a little bit cooler if we didn't just see the whole 80s mall deal 2 years ago.
well, Bronx Tale came out a year after Goodfellas, and I mean, I guess we weren't like watching movies at that point, so we didn't get
Yeah,
the same.
also-
like, hey, you guys just did that.
Also different, Bronx Tale was a one-man show for years before it was ever made into a movie.
It was a one man show.
Yeah.
It was a
Chaz
show.
Palminteri did it as a one-man show because he couldn't get a part, so he wrote all the fucking parts.
Oh, who the fuck is he in a one man show? If they did WonderWoman 84 as a one man show and then came out after Stranger Things and did the whole mall thing, I wouldn't be like, hey, give her credit. She was doing it as a one man show.
That's fair.
dude.
I mean, that,
Right.
whatever.
My
Anyway,
point is that the movie was written and pretty much had been done. We're getting off track again.
I rated it
I
4.
like the mall thing. After that, it just definitely downhill.
I rated it 4 for the first half of the movie. That's
no,
why
what's
they
the
get a good thing.
entirety of the score? You have
No,
to take
4.
A 4.
4?
But he's
It's
giving
so
it-
high
That's
because of the
high.
first half of the movie.
I don't agree with that.
That was
at
dick.
all. My feelings about it really are that like the next day when I woke up and I took a shower, I cried hysterically.
Mhm.
I was not okay. I'm like super upset. I'm super scorned by this. I really think DC just destroyed themselves. I don't know. I mean, how do you consistently just keep making bad movie after bad movie after bad movie and think that you're gonna come out on top? Like, how do you come back from this at this point? Like,
You know
there's
what it
no
is?
hope for you.
You know what it is? It's because you throw, what was the 185 million was the budget?
200 million.
200 million? So you're throwing all of this fucking money into this movie. It's a big investment and you feel like you can't miss. So what do? You have 25 fucking producers, 10 more executive producers. You got 1 million people looking at this thing
I know what the issue
and
is.
pulling it apart.
Yeah.
And it's like, just let Patty, whatever.
Jenkins.
Let Patty Jenkins cook.
The biggest
Like
issue.
at some point, you just gotta let the director cook.
I know the biggest issue comes down to probably the dueling ideas of hers and Jeff Johns, because he was a big Wonder Woman comic writer, so he knows the character.
Did he write Wonder Woman too?
He wrote some of her stuff. Yeah, I don't remember which ones, but I know he's worked with DC on the comic stuff, and I think he's, I don't know if it was Justice League or if it was Wonder Woman. He's worked with
Jeff Johns
Wonder
even like really involved at this point with the movies? Like, is he even
He's
looking over? I know he's been an EP on everything since Man of Steel, but like,
Oh no, he worked on the script with her. They worked on the story and
All right.
together. This was one that he was part of. And I think that's part of the problem. Because Wonder Woman was hers. And then 1984 was not. And I
did
think
he work on Wonder Woman?
Not to the extent that he worked on 84.
Eh.
I think they couldn't let her have control. And I think you see dueling clashes here. I'm not saying that she's completely right in this movie either. No, I have so many problems with her directing, certain directing styles and stuff like that. But I don't even know who to blame. I don't know who to be angry at, but I'm scorned. I'm very scorned.
I don't know who to blame.
I honestly just blame them all. Like,
Can we just rattle off some problems? Like, one, why does she run so weird?
Cheetah?
Don't know. Fucking Gal Gadot.
Oh.
Why
Yeah,
are
I
you
thought that
running
too.
like that? Why are you shooting it like her on a green screen and then you just shot some footage out of the back of a car and you're just slapping one on top of the other?
Yeah, I
and she's just knife handing through the air.
And like it's
that.
like slow-mo around her.
And it's
like she's race walking.
And
she's doing that.
It's like
and then
she's race walking.
in my head, when she's doing that, I'm like, oh, she's not running fast. She's jumping far. And then it cuts to the side and her legs are fucking moving. And I'm like, oh no, she's running fast. And it just didn't work.
And so
Just pick one.
she never had
And honestly,
super speed. She never had she was fast, but she didn't have super speed. Like what? And that was
No,
something
there's
wrong
like
too.
there's at least 3 people in the Justice League that are faster than her. The Flash is faster than her. Superman is
Yeah.
faster than her.
Well,
That's why she had the
yeah,
invisible
but
jet
she can
before
still
she
be
could fly, and then now she flies. So like she never once had super speed. She had stealth, and then she had like superhuman.
Was she able to
speed.
make things invisible before?
That's a new thing. That's a new 52 thing.
Ah.
That's a Zeus thing. I don't remember how she got the invisible jet in the original stuff. I really don't remember. But she always had it.
Yeah.
I think she just got it. I think she was given to it
I
to
couldn't
her
tell you.
by
Yeah.
on them
Like the
Scary.
lasso, it was just like.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure because
Yeah.
I think that's how she got.
You're Wonder Woman
see,
now. Here's your lasso, and here's your invisible
Yeah.
jet, and
Pretty
Yeah.
much.
here are your
know-
bulletproof
because,
bangles.
Yeah.
Like how
There's men out there.
how
Be
the
careful.
first one starts with Steve Trevor coming to the island and her having to bring him back to America. Was it America? Yeah, it was America in the comic. Is really how like it did happen in the comic.
Mhm.
So that's not too far off. And I'm pretty sure though they give her the invisible jet to get him back to America in the comic book.
Mhm.
And in this one she just creates it. But I'm pretty sure in the New 52 she can do that. I just don't remember. It's been a while since I've read the comics. But yeah, I mean my biggest issue is Cheetah. The CGI Cheetah, rough.
Well, a lot of the CG was kind of like.
Yeah, but that
Yeah,
was
but the cheetah was the one that really stood
that
out.
was the one that really.
I'm not
like,
gonna blame CG
I got
that much
plenty.
these days because it's just like it's so fucking hard to do that shit, and like maybe the technology isn't quite there. I mean, it is with some folks, but
I could tell you right now how you fix that. And
Make
this is
her
Patty
hair-
Jenkins' fault. This is Patty Jenkins' fault. As a director, you should be able to look at all these things.
Hold on. I'm gonna show him what she looks like in the comics. You're going with the hair thing, right?
Yep.
Go
Yeah.
ahead. I'm gonna show him
Okay,
what she looks
so-
like though.
In I feel like as a director, like we need to be able to look at all different assets that involve in film and accurately say like why things are not going to work or see issues. She should have looked at Kristen Wiig's blonde hair, knowing that she was going to be.
much easier.
Thank you. Right?
Oh yeah, why not just make her look like?
All you had to do was make her copper or make her brunette.
Yeah, but the point is that her hair is red.
But no, it comes.
The
It's
blonde hair was the issue with the CG.
Yeah,
right?
because
Was it?
because what happens is that you don't have any definition now. So you have yellow, white, and black. Yellow and white, especially for a platinum blonde, or she wasn't platinum, but like a butter blonde like Kristen Wiig is, those colors are mashing together. White and that butter color, you're never going to be able to see that on a dark screen like you have. Now, if you have a brunette or a copper, that red against that white with that black is going to pop and your eye is going to be able to see it. That immediately makes that fight scene just a tad bit better because we can actually see it.
What screen are you talking about? What screen
The
was she
fight
against?
scene at the end when she becomes the cheetah.
They're in like the dark though.
It's
Yeah.
like a blue, but the coloring is like bluish and it's like,
Yeah.
it's dark. It's just a
It's
dark.
like nighttime in the jungle type of look.
Yeah, and you can't make her out because of the definition issues.
Because the hair is dark?
Because her hair is blonde.
Because it's all one color.
It's all blended into one
Her
color.
hair,
You
her
have,
fur, her chest is all
Right,
like
so
a,
you have
a
a-
soft blonde to a white, and it just doesn't.
You have his hair color.
She looks like
Next-
I need
a.
to look at
She
this.
looks,
Hold on.
dude. If you watch the movie
Yeah.
in that fight scene against the dark backdrop, I said it was the worst thing I've seen in a high level production since the Night King Game of Thrones episode.
Yeah.
It's like a yellow orb bouncing around the screen.
If you
when
take-
you watch these wide shots of her, it just you can't make out anything.
So, Gage, ready? Look, the color of his hair.
I'm looking at a picture of her
Oh, you see it.
right now.
You see what I'm saying, right? If you change
So
that,
you're saying her contrast, she's not contrasted enough from her own body.
yeah, she
Yeah.
has no contrast within herself. You can't define her neck from her leg from her back. And because of that, how you just see a blob fighting with Diana.
Yeah, I mean, I took
At that
entire
point,
sequence
I
and I
was-
was like, this is like most other fight scenes in these fucking movies. It's just, here's a shit ton of things happening and the hero's going to come out on top. This is just a way for you to kill 15 minutes.
Once I saw her as the cheetah, I was so checked out. I'm like, all right, can we get to the end of this? I'm like, there's no saving this movie.
No,
at
yeah,
this
it was
point.
horrible.
It's been so bad for the last at least 62 straight minutes
Mhm.
of just bad. Can we just? I'm done. Wrap it up. She's gonna win. Her flying. I didn't see that one coming. Great. Didn't save anything. It not even like a feel good movie. Like
Yeah, no, honestly, and it looks like
it's not. There's almost nothing. There's nothing redeemable
The
about this
lesson was
movie.
kind of like, life sucks, deal with it.
Yeah. The lesson of the movie is that you don't always get what you want, and
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it's what it is.
and fucking you just got to deal with it.
Magic can't bring
Sometimes,
it back.
the
sometimes
message.
you get shafted, and you have to
That's not
deal
the
with it.
messages at all. The message is the grass is not always greener on the other side.
It was
That's what
don't
message
cheat.
is.
Yeah.
It was don't cheat. It was you can't cheat life.
You can't cheat life.
It was
Yeah.
things happen and they're shitty and you just got to take it on the chin and
Yeah.
do better next time.
That's
Yeah, and if you
it's
die,
not-
that
and
was-
it's
you
not
never
always greener.
die. So it's gonna be an eternity of shittiness. There's gonna be a couple of Steve Trevors. Okay, you're gonna live through a couple of them. Just learn.
That
to
was
fucking
something
let
else
go.
that bothered the
And then
shit out of me.
I renounce my wish thing.
Oh, God,
shitty.
such
The,
lazy
the
writing.
writing was incredibly terrible. See, I didn't want to step on anything because I know we're gonna go here case by case. Because I said I got at least 5 minutes on Kristen Wiig when we get to the awards. 'Cause fucking terrible. But I mean, do we have anything else we have to get before we start breaking it down?
I
Technically,
thought when I was in the whole mindset of like, oh, you're doing the 80s movie thing. I thought Kristen Wiig was perfect. I was like, you're fucking nailing this. You're doing exactly what Patty wants. You want to play into the 80s thing.
I don't know. I just feel like I was stabbed in the back like Caesar.
Mm.
So
When
This
they
was my
announced,
Brutus.
okay, we'll get to it though. We'll get to it. I don't want to step on the Kristen Wiig thing now. We'll get to it.
so after the break.
Why did it end the way it ended? We could just go to commercial there.
All right, we're gonna go to a commercial break. We'll be right back.
Are you ready to experience the dark and macabre? Look no further than Tiger Pack Productions. Tiger Pack Productions, independent film company by our friends Emily and Vincent. They started back in 2018. They've done a few short films, The Attack and Flora's Daughter. Award-winning at dozens of festivals. This company's on the rise. They're just getting started. So why don't you guys give them a follow on their Instagram and Facebook at Tiger Pack Productions, and go to their website, www.tigerpackproductions.com, and see their entire catalog of products and what they offer. They're really cool people. You should check them out.
All right, and we're back.
That's how we open her up. Here we
Yeah,
go.
dude, we're back for sure. We're talking about Wonder Woman 1984 and largely how terrible it is, and was and will forever be. We're gonna turn it over to Emily with some factoids about the film.
All right. So Lily Aspel, who was 12 years old, performed all her own stunts. The armor that Diana wears, that golden armor, is from an Alex Ross design from one of the comics. And he came out and said that he was very upset because he has not had any compensation from anything from Warner Brothers except for the comic uses. So they literally used his design, and it is his design, and they have not compensated him. And I actually was a little pissed about that because Alex Ross has been very good to DC. Very good to DC. He's one of their top artists, and it's kind of a little upsetting that like he's being treated poorly like that. So I'm
sad.
not happy with that at all. Emma Stone was offered Cheetah, but turned it down. Kristen Wiig was Patty Jenkins' first choice, and also Sarah Paulson was up for the role. And she really wanted it, but Kristen Wiig won out because Patty Jenkins wanted her. The Dreamstone is made of citrine, which is an orange crystal, and
Very grounding stone.
it is a
For your
great
first chakra.
See, babe,
They're rocks.
Gage understands crystals.
Yeah, put
They're
them out
not
the moon.
just.
Do you
rocks.
use them? Do you have them?
I used to use them. I used to have a bunch.
Why don't you anymore?
Because one night I put them out to charge under the full moon,
Mm-hmm.
and I woke up in the morning and they were gone. And I figured, hey, I must not need you anymore, and you don't need me. You probably went to find some other soul that needed you.
That does not mean that crystals will not come back into his life.
No.
Okay, I think they're rocks, but
They're not just rocks. They're not. Okay. Anyway, I'm spending hundreds of dollars on rocks. Let's clarify that.
fucking expensive rocks.
I thought we had enough of this conversation last night. I'll bring up the Yule all over again. I will start the
This
fight
isn't
about
the
Yule
place
again.
for you.
I will start the fight about
Like a
Yule again.
log?
No.
No. This isn't the time and place.
Barbara was the third cheetah and the most famous. She came out in 1987. Priscilla Rice was the first in 1943, and Deborah Domain was the second in 1980. There also has been a fourth who's been a guy, Sebastian something, but
A male cheetah.
yeah, but Barbara Minerva ends up killing him and becomes cheetah again, so it's pointless. Wonder Woman only used Revlon products. Like her makeup was only done with Revlon products, which I thought was very interesting because that's not.
Does she own Revlon?
I don't know if she has stock in it. I think she is their face or something like that. But I actually told one of my makeup artist friends, and they were like, "Wow, really?" And I was like, "Yeah." And they're like, "Well, it is basic makeup, so I guess it's not too bad." But I found that shocking that it was camera ready like that.
I know nothing about makeup.
Yeah, I know. I just threw that one in there because I thought it was interesting. Fifth longest film in the DCEU. In the comics, Maxwell Lord does not gain his powers from a stone. He gains it from aliens, an alien invasion in one of the Justice League comics. I don't remember which one. And he actually is a Justice League villain. He's not like solely a Wonder Woman villain.
He can come back.
He can come back. Is that what
He
you
can
said?
come back.
I mean, he could get powers from aliens, and truly, like his powers were, I forget exactly what they were. I think it was mind control, so it was not too dissimilar. But it wasn't Grant. He wasn't a genie. He had mind control,
Yeah.
so that's a big thing. And like the whole cheetah thing too. The whole cheetah thing. That's not even close to her origin story. She gets it from a god. Pretty much. She, in terms of the New 52, if we're talking New 52, she is a philanthropist and she travels to I think she travels to Africa, where she tries to find a tribe where a woman is like their leader and their shaman. And in meeting with them, she gets, I forget she drinks a
So is she not a
potion or-
complete loser in the books? The comics?
Yeah, she's not.
Oh.
She's not like a,
She's not cool.
Diana. Yeah, no, she's not cool. She's a scientist and she does this, but
She's still a fucking science nerd, but
yeah, but like she's
Still a nerd.
and that's the thing too that bothered me is that
nerd.
it kind of made it seem like in this movie that Diana needed Asteria's armor to battle Cheetah, when in the comics they're very equally matched in their powers. They're completely equally matched. Like there's and that's the other thing too that bothered me. You had Asteria's armor where you had all these Spartan warriors coming at it, and you know, like it held up after all these years, and Cheetah goes at it in the
just
shitty fight
rips it
scene
apart.
and rips it apart like
well,
it's nothing.
I think
Are
that
you kidding?
this was clearly a different like cheetah from what I'm hearing from you, because the first wish she made was that she wishes to be like Diana, so she was equal with Diana then, and then she upped her power.
Right, which is not dissimilar from like there are comics that kind of do that, but it's not in like, I don't know. I just hated the way that they went about this, because it's like, why did you have to bring in Maxwell Lord to do a Cheetah origin? So like, you could have done Cheetah's origin story in this, and it would have made complete sense. You could have brought in the god, and actually you could have even had Maxwell Lord in it, getting the power from the god, and that been the alien invasion. Like there's so many ways that they could have been about this that would have brought it closer to the comic books, and I actually think would have helped them in creating a more secure story.
So how would Diana have been able to wish for?
Yeah, I mean
Pine?
that's the one thing. Like it's like it would have to change a little bit there, where it's like you're gonna either have to figure out a different way of bringing back Steve Trevor or change that aspect of it. It's not I don't like this whole wishing thing, and then it's a cheap writing aspect. I'm sorry, like you just wish it away.
Oh,
I don't want my wish anymore. Sorry.
Renounce it.
yeah. So
Oh,
that
that's
was
my
that
wish.
was
Oh,
my
okay.
like. Oh fuck! Why did it end that fucking way? That was super dumb.
I think if they didn't do
think
it that
that was
way, like they probably would have not.
The
written
whole
themselves into
premise of
corner.
the movie is dumb.
I would have liked to see
The-
Princess Diana with Max Lord's son, like lasso wrapped around his neck, and she's like, "If you don't renounce your wish, I'm taking his head off." I would have liked to see
To
that.
actually, I think Diana does end up killing Maxwell Lord in the comics. I think that's the first person she ever kills in the comics. So, and that could have been an interesting thing to do.
Yeah, add some real hardcore, like,
Yeah,
you know,
this
you don't
movie-
want to do this, but you got, it's the only fucking thing you could think of to do.
Well, it's kinda
And
like
you
that
got
Man
like
of Steel
15 minutes
moment.
to do it.
But that's that Man of Steel moment.
Yeah.
People hated it. People were, you remember how upset people were about that?
Oh, you know how hyped I was?
I loved it.
I
loved
was
every
like,
second of it.
oh,
What
man.
moment?
When he
Man of Steel.
snapped
Zod's
General
neck.
Zod's neck.
Yeah, that was like a big like. I remember my friend
And people were like,
freaking out.
Superman doesn't do it.
Yeah, that was like Batman shooting the gun
Yeah, but old Bruce Wayne does shoot a gun.
in Justice League.
Yeah, but they're doing old Bruce Wayne.
Yeah, it
does
was
shoot a gun.
also in
Batman vs Superman, and
yeah, but it
he's
was in
also
like a
old.
vision or something, right?
Oh,
when he
when he
shoots
was,
the
like, in
gun,
the
it's
Middle
not
East
real
or
life
something?
when he's shooting the gun.
Maybe. But my feeling about
Yeah.
that one is not the same because like there's a whole entire comic series about old Bruce Wayne, and that's the route they were going for this. There's no way you were taking Ben Affleck and trying
Yeah,
to do young
well,
Bruce Wayne.
people watch Michael Keaton and Christopher Nolan, Christian Bale,
Yeah.
and think that they're Batman experts. People watch 6 movies and think that they're experts on Batman. It's like fun
Well,
to be a Batman fan.
Hold on.
And in reality, you don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
You
that's-
never read a single comic book. You never read a single panel.
Right.
People
that
spend
happens a lot.
7 months in a pandemic and become an epidemiologist. So
People
That's
spend
not
3
fair.
weeks in a pandemic and become an epidemiologist, dude.
so I believe the Batman thing.
Well, I mean, like I love Batman, but I had a lot of friends who liked Batman a lot more than I did. And they read a lot more with comics than I did, so I learned a lot from them. And there's a crazy amount of stories for Batman. I mean, year one is like his origin, but there's Court of Owls, there's the Death of a Family, there's the Killing Joke. There's so many different versions of Batman, and he all is one man. Like it's kind of interesting how they handle Batman versus where I feel like Wonder Woman and Superman, like they have like their universes. You know, they have like the New 52 Wonder Woman, they have like Golden Age Wonder Woman, and they mirror each other. They have like similarities, but like you could tell what comic is what. Versus Batman, sometimes it's like they do blend together fairly
Where
well.
does the number 52 come from? Why does both DC and Marvel use that?
I'm not sure.
Huh.
I'm not entirely sure where the New 52 came from. That came out, and the New 52 had
It
to
was
be
like
around.
2012.
Yeah, somewhere around there. 2012, 2013.
I was in college. So
I was in college,
definitely
too. I think I was a
2011 to
freshman.
2013, sometime.
I think, why do I feel like 2010 was when they announced it?
I think it's 2010.
Maybe
but I'm
2010 was when the
Googling it right
first
now.
one came out. But Wonder Woman, I think their first one came out in 2012. I feel like I was a freshman in college when it came out.
2011 retcon.
2011, okay. Yeah. That was when Court of Owls came out for Batman. That was a
And
good
it's
one.
because it's 52 new series.
52 new series, like a new season.
Series, like new series of comics. They retconned it and they had 52. So they had like Wonder Woman. That would be a series.
Marvel and DC have the same amount of series. Because didn't Marvel also say the new 52? That's their like
52 weeks in a year.
Oh.
So it's probably based on calendar.
Oh.
That's
It's
why they might
53
have-
weeks.
So then
in a year.
every new series is
No,
a new
No, it's
52.
52 weeks in a year.
I don't think that's why it's 52.
No, but I
I
could
get it.
see
I
that.
didn't sit down.
Marvel's
We're gonna
50.
invite somebody.
Where did you
who
get
knows this.
52 with Marvel?
I'm pretty sure that I thought that they did that.
No, but you could easily do that because it's like, oh, okay, well, if we're going to release a new comic every week. 52 comics.
Yeah. Because I read the new. I mean, at that time, my friend was like, "Oh, new 52 comic, blah blah blah. Here's the new Hawkeye," and I was like, "All right, I'll read
Oh,
it."
I like the Hawkeye.
Yeah,
I thought
Yeah,
it was good.
Marvel
I enjoyed
had
it.
Marvel
I
had
read
a,
2 comics ever. That's one of them.
Marvel had a new 52 in 2012, so a year after DC.
Shakalakan.
Listen, they're always copying each other, man.
Yeah, I mean, you go back to Captain Marvel,
a lot you can
Shazam,
talk
and
about.
Captain Marvel.
Yeah, Captain Marvel,
Shazam was
Flash, and Quicksilver.
Shazam was originally called Captain Marvel,
Yes.
Oh,
and then Marvel sued them.
that's right. In the
And-
fucking video game. What wasn't he Captain Marvel in the video game? In the DC.
Oh, and Injustice.
Yes.
He might have been.
And he would be like Shazam, and then turn into
Mhm.
something.
I don't know if they labeled him as Captain Marvel. No, I think they labeled him as Shazam. I don't think he was labeled as Captain Marvel.
I think he was labeled as Shazam.
I don't
I
know
think at
why.
that
I don't
point-
know why else I would know that Captain Marvel is a thing.
because it probably was around that time that all that shit happened with Marvel.
Oh.
Maybe a little earlier than that. I mean, it wasn't that long ago.
I was never wrapped up in
Marvel.
the comic book
when
world,
Shazam became Shazam.
Yeah, it wasn't that long.
Oh
ago.
no, Captain Marvel has been a Marvel character for like 40 years now.
No, but when did they sue DC about it? That's what I'm saying. When did they sue DC about it? Because yeah, okay, Captain Marvel could have been around, but when did they sue DC? But anyway, yeah, this movie was just atrocious, and Pedro Pascal is a
What?
saving grace.
What? Yeah, you know what?
72.
Really, that's when they sued them for it. 72. That's when Marvel sued DC. 72.
No. So DC Comics sued another company that originally owned Shazam, who was called Captain Marvel at the time, for $4 million and eventually won. DC bought the rights to the superhero in 1972, but could no longer call him Captain Marvel because Marvel had taken the name.
Oh, wait. So they made a character. Marvel bought that character with the name.
No.
No,
DC sued another company
Yeah.
who had a character who was Shazam, but was
Yeah.
called Captain Marvel
Yeah.
because it was a copy of their character.
Yeah.
They sued that company, which I think might have been Vertigo Comics at the time.
Maybe.
Irrelevant though. Sued that
A
company.
lot of drama with these nerds.
Sued that company, bought the rights to the character, but they could no longer name it Captain Marvel because in the time it took them to actually buy the character back, Marvel had trademarked the name Captain Marvel for their hero,
Mm-hmm.
who is the Captain Marvel that Brie Larson portrays.
Yeah.
Ultimately. So then they had to change the name. So then they came up with Shazam.
Mm-hmm.
Because he said Shazam.
Shazam! Good old Billy.
Good old,
Good
days,
old
you're right.
Billy Bats. Billy Batson.
I just felt like this entire movie was just kind of lazily written and thrown together, and
It was lazily
There is
written.
no direct. This is what her strength is either.
for Diana.
Like certain things were really hard when like. What happened with the truck when she was like the truck wasn't working that Chris Pine was driving, so she decided to push it, and she was like breaking the earth as she's pushing it. Or somebody on the brakes. You remember that when they're driving through the desert and there's that whole convoy of trucks and that battle scene, and she just starts pushing one of the trucks, which is I forget why it stopped. I think it's holding onto the brakes, and she's running with it at the same speed that all the other trucks are going and catching up to them, but like that strength is not displayed anywhere else in the movie.
Well, okay, so that was the one thing I thought was interesting too, because when I watched it, 'cause I know you guys only watched it once, and I had to watch it a second time because like my trauma instinct kicked in, and my survivor brain blocked a lot of this movie out because it was not dealing with it well. So I had to rewatch this to remember things. And the one thing I did notice is that after she makes the wish and Chris Pine comes back, they start doing little things here and there to show you that she is slowly
Getting
losing
weaker.
and
No, yeah, I
getting
picked
weaker.
up on that the
So
first time.
it's like I think I did pick up on it, but not to the extent that I did the second time. They showed it in odd ways. So they'll show her use her strength in one scene, but not be able to do it something else in another scene.
Mm.
But then use that other thing in a different scene, but not have her strength. So it's like it's not like she's losing all of her, she's losing like her essence in a way.
Yeah.
So it's like she's losing her ability to do all things. And so she puts all her energy into one thing, she won't have the energy to do another. I just noticed it on the second watch, and it was only a couple scenes. And the one scene I really noticed it was with the stupid lock. She's trying to break the lock.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He says, "Oh, tough lock." But even the second watch, I was so out of it. I didn't want to watch it. And then with all the stuff going on in the media, all of a sudden I grabbed my iPad and I was half watching that, half watching the movie. So I just kind of fell out of it. But I didn't take that as a she's losing her powers thing, which it very easily could have been.
It's definitely 100% is.
The second watch around, it's 100% that. Because they make a comment in a scene or two earlier about a give and take with it.
So I know that they said, like, I know that the wish took away the powers, but I didn't realize the thing with the lock because there was never an equivalent scenario earlier in the movie where she broke like a lock, but did it easily. Right.
And I realized, I think that's what had my mind too, but it's both of their acting to it. So when she grabs that lock, she's
frustrated. Like,
it's immediate because what she does is she grabs it and like she was opening a door, it was like one of those, and then it's like immediately like she looks down like what, and then it's two hands in and it starts going like that. And it's like 2 or 3 tugs, and he's watching her confused, and then she finally pulls it, hands it to him, and goes, "Huh, strong lock."
Yeah,
and throws it.
Okay,
and that's like first watch around, I almost didn't catch it. Second watch, I was like, oh. Okay.
No, yeah, I was kind of picking that up the first time around.
I didn't pick it up that early. I picked it up later, but like I was like, that scene just totally blew by me the first time around.
No, the whole monkey's paw thing I thought of right away. With the
no, I think we all understood the monkey's paw thing.
Yeah, but the monkey's paw thing is that I give and I take.
I know, and I know that's why she wasn't so strong at the end of the movie. I know she was losing her powers. That didn't process with me that the lock was an example.
I understand that.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that I understood that like slowly as it was happening.
Oh, you caught on to that.
Yeah.
I put myself like 10 minutes ahead of this movie the entire time. I could put myself where it was.
What's like a better monkey's paw thing that they could have done that wasn't just like, oh, you're gonna get so weak
Diana
you can't
specifically?
fight. Yeah.
That is the monkey's paw. It's that.
I know it is, but what's a different thing they could have taken away from her? You don't have to explain monkey's paw to you, boy.
No, but I'm saying like for her, that character, that truly is the only other.
It's the only thing she has.
Yeah, because think about it.
She doesn't really have family.
No, and like her
and
entire
she lives
being is
for
WonderWoman.
And she lives. Yeah, she's.
What if they like start to take away her memories or her morals or?
Well, that's what they did with Cheetah. They took away her morals. She says that's Cheetah. She was at what cost? She was like, I'm
you lost your
you lost your light and your joy and all that stuff. Yeah. So that's the thing. It's just, and then
you also see separate storylines where shit like that happens. Like, what if they lost their morals, or what if they didn't have morals? There's like, what's the one specific comic line I'm thinking about where it's like Batman, her, and Superman are all bad?
Oh, it's Injustice.
It is Injustice. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're all, well, that's the one when they're all Nazis, right?
No,
aren't they all like Nazis in Injustice?
No.
Yeah.
They're not Nazis in Injustice.
They're not Nazis. They're like Nazis. They have an armband that has a logo on it that's a lightning bolt instead of a swastika, but they're basically Nazis, and Superman is basically Hitler.
We could have done Jojo Rabbit and been having a good time.
We could have been, but we're not.
Listen, you're the
we'll
one.
Get to
Gage,
Jojo
I
Rabbit.
specifically sent a text message. I did not want to do Wonder Woman 1984 because I am so scorned and so upset.
I'm having such a good time.
I'm not.
Awards?
Wait, we didn't go over the positions. Director, DP, editor. We talked about Patty.
We did.
She went over all that.
I went over all that. We talked about Hans Zimmerman. Hans Zimmer. I don't know why I said Zimmerman.
Did he maybe he did stop making tracks? Did he maybe make some like these tracks for the first movie and they just didn't use some and then they just have them in the bank?
No, he's coming out of retirement.
Brand new shit.
I forgot what the.
Let's go, Hans.
I think Dark Phoenix he said before Dark Phoenix he was going to retire from superhero movies.
Yes,
not from music, but and then Dark Phoenix he did Dark Phoenix and then he's
oh my god, another terrible superhero movie.
Another one who I love that they destroyed.
Yeah, but you know what? That's okay because now it's in the hands of Feige and you're going to be okay. It's going to be okay. That movie was intentionally destroyed by Fox. Because why are you looking at me like that?
I'm not looking at you like that. That's just a look of disappointment.
That movie was intentionally destroyed because they knew when they were making it that they were losing the rights back to Disney.
Right.
Same thing Excuse Me with Fantastic Four, while the Miles Teller reboot sucks so
that
bad.
was just atrocious.
Who was the DP?
That doesn't even get a one. The DP? The DP is a nobody. He is a TV DP.
Oh, you looked up his other things.
Matthew Jensen. Yeah, because
Oh.
I'd never heard of his name before.
Gotcha. I think he did exactly what everybody around him wanted him to do. He made it look like a commercial superhero movie.
Yeah, I honestly...
There was nothing.
Honestly, the cinematography, not that it's a saving grace, but there was nothing wrong with the cinematography.
There was nothing wrong with it.
No, it's beautiful.
The writing was terrible. The acting, for the most part,
I
was
think the
uninspired.
editing was very lackluster. I think
I
the
can't really
editing for
speak on editing.
everything, like especially the last scene of the movie. Holy shit, was I
Oh, there's nothing to it.
uninterested?
What's the point of that whole
Was
scene?
there no rhythm?
No rhythm. Oh my god, it was like
Yeah.
it was such a throwaway scene. What the fuck was the point of that? You're better off ending it where it ended with him hugging Alistair, than adding that extra scene in there.
Oh, I meant like the climax. I meant like there was no rhythm to that climax.
Oh, I thought you meant the
Whatsoever.
very last scene where she's with the snow and she runs into who Chris
old
Pine
one.
was. Yeah,
Oh,
it
yeah.
was. I was like, this is ridiculous. I can't even.
Yeah.
I was getting
So that's funny
angry.
because we going award time now.
I mean,
Time for the awards.
we
'Cause
can. I feel like
right
I had a
away
comment, but-
you just named my two guys, my two nominees that I could think off the top of my head right now.
Oh, wardrobe. I'm sorry, this was an important note. She never dressed like somebody from the 80s. Not once. Not ever did Gal Gadot have an 80s costume.
Well, that's not true.
She didn't. All of her stuff was
Ma-
modern as fuck. Now I give it the benefit of she's been an adult on Earth for 40 plus years. She's seen trends come and go. Maybe she's ahead of the curve. Who knows? But
She's not
she
really
did
that 80s.
not dress 80s
No,
at all.
she honestly-
She dressed like it was 20.
She dressed with. It was a mixture between the 40s and the 90s. Some
So
of
that
the
should be like the
tops.
70s, but it wasn't.
Well, actually, that brings me to a great point. They couldn't even get 1984 right. They couldn't even get 1984 right.
Which part about it?
Everything.
Did you not see the mall?
The mall's wrong. Wait,
The
the
mall
game.
is. Why am I'm spiking? I'm yelling. All right.
Because you're both yelling at each other. You've just been getting louder and
The
louder the,
game.
whole time.
Okay, so
the two of you have just been slowly
move that
yelling
way.
at each other.
the game that they're playing. I forgot what game it is right now. I'm just blanking, but it's not. Is not that
Doesn't
that-
come out until 90.
No, like 87. It's like late 80s.
No, it's 1990. I thought we talked about this the other day.
What game are they playing? Galactica.
No. Oh my god, I can't even
Fuck,
think of
man.
it. I don't remember, but it's like late 80s, early 90s. That game comes out. They stand in front of a subway map that has a line on it that didn't run until like 2010.
Oh,
They also walk past the World War II museum or fly past the World War II museum that didn't open until 2014.
fun.
Like the plane that they're on would never be a two-seater. That's a singular plane. That's a singular seater. That's an A-line plane. So it'd be one seat in front of the other.
Mm-hmm.
That plane could never withstand that. It would never be on a runway with gas in it, and it would never be able to make it to Egypt. It would have to stop
No,
somewhere.
even full, it won't be able to make it.
Even
to
that's what I'm
Egypt.
saying. Even full, it would
Yeah.
have
Which
to
is-
stop somewhere.
it
in
could-
the
Which
middle.
is what's funny because
It couldn't even make it to the UK. It would need a mid-Atlantic.
It would have to
regassing.
going
What the fuck they call it?
from DC.
Both of
Absolutely.
you shut up so I
You
can say this.
shut
He
up.
looks at her and says, "You guys have planes that can make it to Egypt in one flight now?"
And she says something like,
It's a fucking line in the movie.
"No,
Yes,
says it
and
to
there
her.
are planes that can make it.
No,
to
I know,
Egypt,
but that's what
not
I'm
that
point-
one.
no." But he says
That's
a time.
the point I'm making.
No, he says a time. He says in 45 minutes or 2 hours. He says something like that. I'm pretty sure.
No,
No,
it
he
just
says
said
you have planes that can make it to Egypt.
Oh, just at all.
Yeah,
in one flight.
in one flight.
Yeah, but
That's
no,
what I
yeah, but those planes need the refueling.
That's
in
what I'm
air.
saying.
It can
That's
still be
my-
one flight.
I guess to get refueled in air. At that point,
Yeah,
it didn't get
still one
refueled
flight.
in the air.
I know that it didn't. That's what we're saying is the problem with it is that it didn't get refueled.
I know that. I'm pointing out that he made the fucking statement about it.
That it could make it. Oh, so you're saying that they changed up the
I'm
universe?
pointing out another reason why this movie sucks.
Got it. Well,
Because not only can that plane not make that flight, but he fucking says in the movie how surprised he is that it can.
because
when it
he's from
really-
1919.
I understand that. Stop yelling at me. You're getting very
Yell out.
loud.
You asked me to do a movie that I didn't
Yell
want
out.
to do, so I'm
Getting
gonna get
very
loud.
I'm using a fucking point from the movie to back up what you guys were saying.
But it doesn't back up what we're saying because it's not. It still doesn't make sense.
That's my point.
He's saying
That's the
that
point
it doesn't
that I'm
make
making.
sense. That plane would never be able to make it in one
And
without regassing.
and it's
Right.
so on the nose that they fucking make a comment about
Right,
it to you.
but
That's
my
point.
problem with that is that plane ticket he picked up would not be for a fighter jet like that. It would be for a Boeing that possibly could in 1984 make it in one flight. Probably not.
Yes.
It's probably still make it an air flight. So that's what I'm saying. That comment doesn't really make sense because with the ticket he has in his hand, that plane logically probably would make it in one flight. But the planes that they walk across are fighter jets that would never make it. So I don't see how the comment crosses one to the other.
I thought that he was making the comment about the fighter jet.
No, I thought he was making the comment just in general that, wow, you actually have planes at this point.
I took it that he was making the comment about the fighter jet because that's the plane that they were getting in
Yeah,
to
'cause
take
he
to
was-
Egypt.
I
Yeah.
did not take it as that. I took it as
So I took it the other
this
way.
is a pilot from 1919 that had paper mache airplanes that he was flying at the time that now has a ticket that's saying you can get from DC to Egypt on one go.
I don't remember the ticket thing.
He literally held up a piece of paper. He was like, "Wow, you can," and that's where it came
Oh,
from.
okay.
Because he had Egypt stuff all over.
Yeah.
Maxwell Lord was talking about. Well,
all of that. Yes, I
yeah.
remember.
So no, he picks up a ticket and is looking at
Oh,
the
the
ticket. when he says it.
classic. Where are they? Oh, he left his plane ticket.
Exactly. It's one of those.
Uh,
And that's where I was like, he's just talking about planes in general. Because then he says, that's what he says too. He's like, I don't want to fly to Egypt. He's like, well, we can't get on a plane because you need a passport. He's like, I want to fly this plane. I want to fly this plane.
yeah.
He's talking about a Boeing. He's not talking about a fighter jet that can crash in the middle of the Atlantic
Mhm.
when they run out of fuel. So that is a just poor writing issue and poor directing issue to me, where it's not clear cut. Maybe even an editing issue. Maybe that was that shouldn't have been cut there. Maybe we should have had another scene in between that clarified what was going on instead of rushing right into it. That I don't know. I don't know how you fix this movie.
You don't.
I don't know what's on the floor.
You scrap the whole thing and reshoot everything.
seriously,
There's
it's
no way to
terrible.
save this movie.
But I mean, I guess we can go into awards.
Heat check. The Sun.
The sun.
The Sun. Alistair.
I wouldn't give him the heat check.
I'm saying nominees.
Oh, okay.
Alistair.
Yeah.
The actor who plays the body that Chris Pine is in.
Okay. Fair.
The rapist.
Linda Carter. Not the rapist.
The rapist.
Linda Carter
The cop in the mall.
and the cop in the mall. Those are the nominees.
My go was Linda Carter just because. She's
Do you
Linda
understand
Carter.
who Linda Carter is?
Is she the woman? Oh, at the end.
Yeah.
Real
She
Wonder
was a
Woman.
stereo, yeah.
Old woman. Yeah.
Old school Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
My feelings, Linda Carter, because she honestly made it worth it for me. When I saw her, I went, oh, it was worth it.
Mm.
You know what? They probably looked at this movie and said, "This is such fucking trash. Call Linda, see what she's doing. We're gonna do some bullshit scene with her after the credits, and it might
Well, it is her in that Hysteria costume too. When that fight,
Yeah.
scene. Yeah, it's definitely her.
Oh,
like
we got
it
the.
might
We got
get
the.
her. It might make it okay if we put her in there at the end.
I
Like,
did feel it
it's
better.
it's gonna make people feel a little bit better. I don't know. You don't think Alistair?
No,
The young sheik who got dicked over hard.
no,
Nah.
no.
I'm just trying to think of people.
Nah, it's a hard one. It's a hard one for the heat check.
The only other one
How
I
about
give it to
the,
is the little girl
uh,
in the beginning.
The scientist who.
you
he
give
was
it
a
to the
dick-
aunt.
He was a dick to Kristen Wiig, and then once she started getting hot, he was like, I'll call you later, and then walked out of the room.
I would give it to the aunt.
You give it to the aunt
I could give it
too.
to her. I could even give it to Connie Nielsen. Connie Nielsen's fantastic.
Who's the aunt?
Robin Wright.
Oh, and who did Connie Nielsen say?
She's Hippolyta.
Hip-hop?
Hippopotamus.
Hippopotamus?
I
Give him all these
I
ones.
saw your face like changed. Like I knew that was coming. It's instant like a flick of a switch, like hip.
Bro, what about the robbers in the beginning, in the mall?
The
The,
robbers are
two
great.
that are like, "What are you doing? No,
I have to say,
no,
Yeah, like,
no."
fucking stop.
That's those two split the award for me. It's those two that
No.
are like, "Dude, we're here to rob jewels."
Like, you just
What-
turned
that's
this
a
into
kid.
a child murder.
Yeah.
I know which one's my favorite. It's the one that's with that guy that he's standing there like this, and he's like all calm, like I don't know them, and also he's like, "Come on, guy, we can't stand there." He's just like, that he should win. Not both. You shouldn't split. He should be the one that wins because just for that, like, alone.
I mean, I like the little girl in the beginning too. I just think she could have worked on her accent.
Oh, you mean little Diana?
Yeah, and her hair color and her skin tone.
Yeah, really could have worked on that.
Yeah.
Her hair color is the same.
Oh, I meant to bring
I thought
this
it was
up
lighter.
before, by the way.
No.
The scene that you were talking about with the trucks in Egypt,
Yeah.
she runs away and saves the kids in the street from the missiles.
Mm-hmm.
When she was serving in the Israeli army,
Yeah.
two or three kids were hit by a stray Israeli missile playing soccer in the street of the other country, whoever it was, one of those countries over there.
Oh, really?
Wait, when
That's
who
wild.
was?
When she would, because if you're from Israel, you have to serve.
Yes.
Okay.
So she was serving in the army.
Oh, gal?
Yeah.
Oh.
When she was
Oh,
serving in the
fucking
army,
bitch.
now it has nothing to do with her other than the fact that she was there. But it was, I saw someone pointed it out on Twitter, and I was like, "Holy
That's
shit!"
wild.
Yeah, there were kids playing in the street, and they got hit with a stray missile and a stray Israeli missile, and then they have that scene where she runs and saves them in the movie.
Whoever worked that out into the script gets a heat check. For no
Well,
reason.
who knows if it even was intentional or not? But maybe she brought it up. Who knows?
I mean, she is a producer. She is listed as a producer on this. She could have had a say.
Best actor. I mean,
Pedro.
Pedro.
Done.
Obviously, don't have to say anything else about it.
Yeah, Pedro.
Now this is I can't imagine anyone has a favorite scene other than the mall deal with the cop in the beginning. Do you have a least favorite scene?
Well, I could argue
The
another
climax.
favorite scene.
Yeah,
entire
the whole
climax.
last
Because that's what
35
really
minutes
made
for
it
me.
a bad movie to me. Like the rest was like the beginning I liked, the middle I thought was cliche, and then the end really just fucking.
Well, here's my
bombed it
problem
for
with
me.
the ending. Once he became the stone himself,
Mhm.
he would have to be touching somebody. He would have to say, "Don't you wish that?"
Yeah, and then they would just say,
and
yeah.
grab them by the back of the head
Right.
or touch them physically.
Mhm.
Now I can just get on a satellite broadcast and grant
Oh,
wishes
and I'm-
like a fucking.
and
Now
I'm
I'm just a
touching
straight
people?
up genie.
Like,
And just
Yeah,
granting
and-
fucking wishes all over. Bang, you get a wish, and you get a wish, and you
And-
get a wish, and everybody gets a wish.
And
It made the whole last 35 minutes worst scene.
when in 1984 could you have
Could you
any-
get satellite that could fucking reach the whole world like that?
that and could go into computers? Computers didn't even have that technology in 1984.
Just
Little,
pop
like-
up on the TV screen
Yeah,
in
like
Best
it's
Buy.
nothing.
What are you kidding?
Okay. Get the hell out of here.
The whole thing is
Patty,
bullshit.
it's too much.
could
Patty,
they not have
oh,
things like that where like the president could just be like an emergency broadcast?
non-computer systems like that.
What do you mean on computer systems?
In 1984, computers were still very young
What does computers have to do with what we're talking about?
because he broadcasted.
Because he broadcasted to computers?
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yes. Yeah,
Every
there's one
screen-
scene where
every
they're
screen.
specifically like it's either in a bank or like I think it's supposed to be like kind of like a Wall Street in a way where you see it broadcast on all the computers.
Which
Ah.
is funny because it comes full circle from the beginning with him in the commercial, and you see his face on every TV.
Yeah, and he's like,
Right.
you could be wealthy. You could have whatever you
Yeah.
want.
he's a
Yeah.
con man.
Do the thing. Do the thing. Yeah, I probably would say Pedro's.
I'm surprised nobody
Yes.
went like, I wish you'd
No,
shut the
best
fuck
or
up.
worst scene.
That's right, best or worst scene. See, I didn't even care anymore.
Like if you were watching that guy on TV and he was doing that, you'd be like, I wish you got shot in the fucking head.
Yeah, dude.
Like nobody on the planet
He's like a-
wished
it'd be like
something
Billy-
ill on this man just for fun.
it's like the 84
I wish
Billy
that guy
May.
would shut up.
Yeah. I wish that
the
guy had his
ShamWow
cock
guy.
in his mouth.
He's like the ShamWow guy.
Ah.
ShamWow.
I wish that guy went to jail for punching a broad.
Yeah. I wish that guy slapped the hooker and got caught.
I did really like the very first scene with the like triathlon.
Did you like the scene, or did the movie still have promise then?
No, I actually like the scene because rewatching it, that
it was good.
It was one of the only
good.
scenes I
the
liked.
first
I
20 minutes are okay,
Did
and it
not
just gets
fucking
brutally
like that
worse.
scene at all.
I think I liked it because it gives us a look into the mascara and how truly Greek they were. That's a very Greek thing to be doing, to have a triathlon.
yeah,
like that.
that's cool.
So
but
I
what
think-
does that
I
have to
think-
do with anything?
Well, no, I think it just hit to me for history. Like I don't,
Oh,
I
okay.
know in terms of the movie, yeah, I could cut that out. I don't need it. But in terms of like finding a good scene in this movie. I think
Yeah.
that was a good scene.
It was literally just for a theme statement. That's it.
It
Well,
completely
yeah, it
supports
was
the
literally
statement.
just
to
to
say,
lay the
"Don't
theme of
cheat."
don't cheat life.
And to show that, like, she hasn't always been good. She hasn't always been perfect. She did have trials in her life too.
Yeah.
It's it's to give her more character, which is like, I get it, and you could have done that in a better way, but I did like the scene. I mean, honestly, the worst scene for me is literally the first moment that Kristen Wiig is completely cheetah. When I saw that, my heart broke. Honestly, I don't even know. I don't have words for it anymore. I'm left
Terrible.
speechless. I'm
So,
left.
I didn't know
speechless.
Cheetah. I didn't know who these people were. So when that happened, I was like, I thought she was just gonna get even
So,
hotter. And
No,
then she
like
didn't.
for me, Cheetah, WonderWoman, Hawkgirl, and Phoenix were like my favorite comic book people. For obviously Phoenix is Marvel, but DC, like Cheetah, Hawkgirl, and Wonder Woman were my shit. Like I want them tattooed on me. I still do want them tattooed on me. I don't care how this movie does. It's for other things, but I just I get excited when I see something that's like from my childhood. Like this stuff I read my entire life. Like this is the type of stuff that got me bullied in high school, okay? And now I just feel like I'm getting bullied again.
By your own.
Like by them, by
It'd be your
them.
own
It's
people.
by DC itself. They're bullying me and I'm so affected. I'm so affected. You have not helped this pandemic. You have made it worse, DC. Jen.
Yeah.
So new award, the Kristen Stewart Award for bad acting. You could give this award to just about anybody else in this movie who isn't named Pedro Pascal, but it's Kristen Wiig's award, baby. Kristen Wiig, upon viewing this movie yourself, I suggest you take a good, long, hard look in the mirror and you ask yourself if you want to keep doing this acting thing professionally. Okay? Because you either got to be all the way in or all the way out. My recommendation, never do a drama, a dramatic, or a serious role or an action role ever again. Stick to the comedy. Even that
Are you
don't
talking
do-
to Kristen?
Yeah. Even that you don't do great. I fucking broke when I saw her bend over.
Because his reaction to
It's mind-numbingly terrible. And I looked at you when they casted her. When they first announced that she was cast as Cheetah, I said, this might be okay, but it might be incredibly horrifically terrible. And what we got was worse than what we could have ever imagined, and it goes way deeper than the CGI, my
I
friend.
mean, this was they might as well have just dropped a nuclear bomb on the entire
Kristen, I
movie.
couldn't disagree. I don't think it was that bad, dude. Honestly, I don't think that Kristen Wiig was like an acting problem at all. I think that she was much more versatile than Gal Gadot was.
Gal Gadot was
she
terrible
gave up.
too. Gal Gadot was terrible too. You could literally, Emily said it when we were, you can literally see her giving up.
There's scenes where you literally see her.
She gave
give
up. She mailed it in that day.
Yeah.
It's just like, I don't know, there was no real human range in her. It was just like, you're just acting like a perfect person.
She gave up. I'm telling you, she gave up. Something had to have happened on that set, or something with the writing where they had conversations, fights about it, where she literally, I could tell where she gave up in the movie. And I'm
The
like, this is
writing-
not acting things. This is just you.
The
Just don't
writing
care
didn't
anymore.
help anybody.
Yo, you know who didn't get enough credit until Chris fucking Pine? You know what? You didn't do anything fantastic. You didn't like fucking make any splashes, but it wasn't your place to. You sat back and you let somebody bounce off of you. And you did it well to
You
me.
got
He
a
was
couple
I
of
think you
rebounds.
did
You
it well.
set a couple of hard screens. It's not going to show up in the box score the next day, but you're a reason that you guys didn't lose by 70 instead of only losing by 40.
I
He's
think
an
you did
excellent support.
Solid role player.
He's an
He
excellent
did great.
support
He
in
did
this
okay.
Excellent support in this movie. He probably has the best line where they're in the plane and she's like, "Oh, I forgot to tell you about Radar," and he's like, "Radar." Oh, well, shit, Diana. That's the best line.
Yeah.
Well,
It's like-
shit, Diana.
She's like, the way I fly, they'll never catch us. He's like, I forgot to tell you, there's radar now. It's like, what's that? means they can see us even when it's dark. Well, shit,
No,
Diana.
he goes, well, are they gonna shoot at us? And she just looks at me and goes, well, shit, Diana. And he's just flying.
But even that, as soon as they said radar, we look at each other and go invisible plane.
Yeah.
And then there we are. Here's the invisible plane. And it was like a fun little throw in because we were going to make her fucking fly anyway at the end of the movie. So it was literally just another throw in to appease people like you.
But it didn't appease me at all.
Because it wasn't a fucking good homage to the invisible jet. It was a fucking just throwaway. It was like a throwaway Easter egg. Didn't need to do it.
I don't think that. I think that her flying needed to happen later for sure. So whatever, bring out the jet. She couldn't fly that early in the movie. She needed that little, I fucking revoked my wish or whatever the shit she said. No?
Yeah, but the reason she has the invisible jet in the comics is because she herself cannot fly.
Yeah,
That
and
was
she
a
couldn't
retcon.
at
Right.
the time of this movie, and they had to get to Egypt. So, yeah, toss in the little invisible jet. I don't think that she should have taken Chris Pine and learned how to fly right then and there.
Well, no, she wouldn't have been able to.
That's what I'm saying. But you could have. It's a movie. That could be like, all right, we're going to push her flying up to this point because the jet's not needed if she's going to fly anyway. I don't think that would have been the right call. Is that what you're saying?
What do you mean?
Like the jet is a throw-in? Like how else could she have gotten?
No, it was like, how could we write the fucking invisible jet in here just to get it in here to appease to the
fans.
the comic heads,
Yeah.
the diehard
I suppose the
comic
jet
fans.
could have played later as well somehow, but it
Well,
didn't.
because if you're gonna make her fly, then I get you. You bring
don't
the
even
jet
have
in.
to make
you
her
don't.
fly this movie.
No, you didn't. You could have just had her fucking flying the invisible jet, and
Yeah.
everyone would have left with a little less sour taste in their mouth.
Yeah. You-
Especially if you.
Yeah, you could have saved the flying for the next movie.
You could have said
Yeah.
that for Justice League.
Especially if you just showed her flying with like old school, like just her sitting down in nothing, flying. You know what I'm saying?
Love that.
Like it would have not saved the movie, but it would have.
I
she
would
would've-
have loved
you could
that.
already-
And she's just like,
just sitting down
Just
like
sit-
this in nothing. Yes.
and just a big wide shot of.
Yeah.
Yo, I would
Just
have
a huge wide shot of Gal Gadot,
would
and then like
have
6
died.
feet behind her, the clouds coming from the end.
Yo, I would have screamed. I would have been like,
that would have been perfect.
the rest of it would have been complete shit. If that scene was in it, it would have gotten a 10. It would have gotten a 10. Just because of the
Just
fact
that
they
scene
did
would
it.
have gotten a 10, but I don't think that would have
Just
saved
the
the movie.
fact that
I'm
they
yelling.
did that and they didn't make her invisible, they literally left her like the fucking comic books, would just kill me. Because like as a creator, I'd be like, don't ever fucking do that. Don't ever do that. Don't make her invisible because this is ridiculous. This is 2020. We can do things like this now. We don't have to explain it in a comic book like we did in 1943. All right, but I would have loved it. It would have been a horrible ending to a terrible movie.
Yo, now that we mentioned that, we should do another day where we just talk about how we could have made individual things better.
You know how you
'Cause
make
we're on
individual things
to-
better? You just make the whole movie. You rewrite the whole movie.
Just do a whole
We
separate
rewrite
series.
rewrite
Just-
this movie.
Not even rewriting it. Just you need to make a movie exponentially better by just removing one character or one specific thing. You get one thing to remove.
And you
And you
pick
change-
Kristen Wiig?
If that
Oh,
was
okay.
it. If I had one thing that I could remove from the movie, it would be the fucking wishing stone. But you need to rewrite the whole movie to get rid of that. So this is what brings us back to the only way to save this movie is to throw it out, rewrite it.
Yeah, I mean, arguably, you could actually get rid of Kristen Wiig, and you possibly could make this movie stronger because the issue is you have two villains.
You could get rid of Kristen Wiig. It's very much like the
or you could get rid of Pedro.
Idris Elba in Aquaman
Yeah, where they have the two villains.
shows
yeah.
up. Yeah, he's
Yeah,
like
yeah,
barely involved in that
Yeah,
movie at
it's-
all. He didn't even need to be there. He
DC
could have saved
likes to
35
do
minutes.
this. They like to have dual villains, and they don't understand how to work with two
Because they want to be able to
antagonists.
bring you the one. They want to be able to just show you one and then bring him back in 7 years.
Right, but you're not properly working
No,
with
they
them.
haven't
Did
done
anything
anything
work
right.
with two villains? Like there was that Spider-Man movie that had two villains.
No, nothing ever truly works with two
What?
villains. No, the way you have two villains is you have a true antagonist, and then you have the antagonist's sidekick, which is kind of what it started to become at the end of
It's
84.
100% what it becomes at the end.
Yeah, where she becomes the sidekick, which is I don't
He
mind.
makes her the cheetah.
No, every Mission
And
Impossible has two antagonists. Fast 5, two antagonists. That worked.
Oh, who do you have? You have Shab and
The Rock. And the
The
government.
Rock. Oh, yeah.
Hobbs and Shaw.
Hobbs and Shaw that's two antagonists against each other.
I know, but Hobbs and Shaw were the names you were looking for when you said Shab.
Yeah, Hobbs and Shaw.
Shab and Hua.
Shab and Horse. Shab and Horse. So I mean, let's lasso it all in here. Not to make a pun, but we're gonna wrap it up. I'm still giving this a fucking 2.1. It was a garbage movie written terribly by garbage people. And Kristen Wiig, seriously, talk to your husband or whoever it is you're with and like make a life decision here because it shouldn't be serious dramatic acting going forward. Movie was trash. Anyone else got anything to say?
Why does she have to talk to her husband about it? Or her guy?
No, you just-
Why do you have to go to the masculine
Significant
form of
other.
things? Why does it have to be your significant other? Why can't she just
It's
talk
like
to
a
her agent?
family decision. You sit down
Well,
with your
it's really a
family and you
business
make a decision.
Truly, if you think about
It's
it.
like when you hear the old quarterback, like Phil Rivers, what are you going to do if you lose next week? I'm going to sit down, talk to the wife and kids, and, talk
We're
about
gonna
what we
figure
do
it
going
out.
forward.
Oh, that's what DC said when he.
Yeah, I don't agree with that. I feel like it's a business decision. You should be talking to your agent about this.
Fire your
I-
agent and get a new one.
Well, that too.
Fire your
That too.
agent.
Anyway,
Whoever put you in this position set you up to fail.
you know what? You're
Whoever
right.
read that script,
Someone
I
doesn't
am
like you.
so. Do you hate Kristen Wiig in this movie? As
I
much
hate
as he
Kristen
does?
Wiig in this movie. Yes.
I'd like to see
It's
her try
terrible.
another drama, but one that has a good script and
I'll give her
a
another
good
shot.
team and all that.
Oh no,
jazz.
I'm not as far as him.
I don't think she
I'm
should.
not as far as him. I would give her another shot if, like, given the right, like what you're saying, given the right script, given the right drama.
You don't think she showed good range at all? Nothing.
I think she showed potential, but I think that this was beyond her. I think this role was beyond her. I don't think she was capable of this role. Especially with the talent that she was up against. I don't think that
she's a good actress.
Yeah, she's a good actress, but this is a hard villain because she's not truly a villain to Diana. She's a nemesis to Diana. They team up in later seasons. So you have to be able to teeter between friendship and enemy and be able to get that innocent, oh, woe is me, I'm a scientist, and then immediately turn it into I'm a vixen. And she
I think that's
doesn't
what
have
she
it.
did.
No, I don't
she
think
was really innocent, and then she turned into a cat person.
No. I think she seemed like
She was never likable
She
from
You
the
ever
start.
seen?
Oh,
Okay, no.
okay. So she was likable. I think she was likable. She was likable, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, this bitch is a problem.
My feeling was that she wasn't ever able to turn on that vixen. Truly, she wasn't able to shed that quirky, woe is me comedian type of feel that she has to her when she needed to become Cheetah. She was fine with that the Barbara Minerva part, but when she needed to be Cheetah, she was not Cheetah. Cheetah, that just, I didn't see it. It didn't work for me. She just didn't portray it. It was I don't know even how. Honestly,
That could
when
be
I
a
saw-
directing thing too, though.
It could be. It could easily be a directing thing. And
That could
I-
be a studio thing. That could be a bunch of different things.
honestly, when I saw that Emma Stone was set to play, like, was originally wanted for this part, the second watch around watching this, imagine Emma Stone, I think that she would have been significantly better. Seeing from what I've seen her in, I think that she already has that girl next door with, like, she has a Easy A type, like, Easy A is kind of what they wanted to do with Barbara Minerva. That, like, quirky, like, oh, I'm here and this is me and I am who I am and whatever. And then be able to turn on that bit of sexiness like she's been able to do in certain films, and I kind of wish it was
Oh, and you
her.
felt like instead of embodying someone who was truly powerful, Kristen Wiig was just like, I'm going to play the part of someone who's powerful.
It was like she was playing dress up.
Yeah.
It was
okay.
like she got into Big Sister's makeup and clothes and was playing dress up because she wants to be like Big Sister. That's what it felt like to me. Where she's low, innocent. Like Diana, like think of it. If Diana's like older sister to Barbara Minerva, which in a way, like that's kind of how the comics do run a little bit.
Yeah.
She wanted to be like Diana. I wanted to be like my big sister. And what happens when you want to be like your big sister? You get into her hair, her clothing, her
Yeah.
makeup, and all that stuff, and you dress up like her, and you try to emulate her. And that's kind of what I felt like Kristen Wiig was doing, and it fell flat.
Isn't
to
that
the
what it's-
character.
That's kind of how
Supposed
the
to be.
character was written, though.
But it felt well. Okay, so we can blame it on writing then. I guess I just kind of
I think she did just a bad job across the board. I think the character was written that way. It's very on the nose.
Right,
that
but
the character is written
that's
that
fine.
way.
The character's written that way, but that's the thing.
She
Is like
never,
she never took it to her own.
I don't think she ever draws like the likability or like what's the word? Like the way Diana's supposed to feel about her, like feel bad for her. Like I don't know if empathy is the word I'm
she has
looking
empathy.
for.
Yeah, empathy is the right
But
word.
she never pulls that out of you.
No.
I never felt anything towards this character, towards any of these characters.
Yeah, I haven't felt anything.
I never felt
I
anything.
felt something towards Pedro Pascal.
Yes. Yeah.
You were like, oh, this man's just in debt and he's trying to like. I thought that. So I was still on board with this movie when you first met his son, and then the fucking business dude was like, "You're a fucking loser," and then he's like, "Son, I'm not a loser. He's wrong." I'm like, I feel for you now. I'm on board with this movie. I think that this is gonna go somewhere good with some serious character development, and you might teach me something. And then somewhere around Act 2, it became really fucking cliche. And Act 2, I didn't hate it. I just said, all right, I've seen this superhero movie thing. And then Act 3 came. And then things started to get really boring. Super boring. They didn't know how to wrap it up. They kind of made the problem too big to wrap up in 20 minutes. And they were like, this movie's getting fucking long.
Yeah. I feel like they wrote themselves into a corner. I feel like they from the very beginning ended up writing themselves into a corner.
The problem got really fucking big. Like, once you accept all the things, yeah, okay, he could touch 1 billion people through television sets, all right, sure.
All it takes is her wrapping her lasso around his ankle.
Around his kid's neck and threatening to decapitate him. Like, what else you gotta fucking do?
But that still wanted to save the movie, though. There's no
Dude,
saving
that would
it.
have saved the fuck out of the movie to me. Are you kidding
No
me?
way.
That
No
would have
way.
made, holy shit. That would have taken everything I felt was cliche about this middle act and then just said, oh no, this movie is fucking out of its bird. And then made the ending exciting.
To Sam
gave
Jackson.
a good reason to really make the guy revoke his wish. I don't know.
Honestly, my question goes back to, like, it really goes back into the writer's room of going, whose bright idea was it to be like, oh, well, they'll just recant their wish? And everyone, yeah, that's it. That's the great idea that we needed for this film. Like, that's where it kind of goes back to. It goes all the way back to
Is this an item in the comics? Do they have to?
No.
Oh, they just made this shit up?
Yeah.
Oh.
No, I mean,
What about the items? Because she was like, some things are made by gods. It's just what kind of god was it?
Yes, so that is the thing. Like, the gods play a big role, especially in Diana's comics. The Greek gods play a big role in them. I mean, Marvel with Thor, the Norse gods play a big role in everything. So yes, that is a thing. That whole idea of like this bracelet being cursed by the gods, that is understandable. But Cheetah gets her powers from a god. Yeah. So, like that, it makes sense.
So they wrapped the whole movie up in this monkey's paw thing from the jump. That was like, okay, so what is Diana's problem here? Like, imagine you're sitting around a table and you're like, okay, we need to make a new movie. What's it about? Well, Diana's really lonely. Her problem is that she just lost her mans.
Right, but can we stop right there? Because
she
lost her mans in 1919. We're in 1984. So you're telling me she lost her mans 60 years ago and she's still bitching about that?
I'm just saying, as far as like a writer's room of like, what is her problem? What's her only problem right now?
Yeah.
And that's loneliness. It's loneliness for 70 years. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Now, hear me out. So then how do we make her not lonely? Well, she has to get the only thing that would make her not lonely. And that, well, aside from the rest of her fucking family or whoever died, let's do a monkey's paw gag. And then kind of wrap the whole movie up around that and start changing villains' backstories to fit into the monkey paw thing.
Yeah, I don't know. There's so many.
There doesn't seem to be another starting point to me. Unless somebody said, I'd love to do a monkey's paw thing. And then they wrapped it around that. But I think it had to do more with what's Diana's problem and how could she solve it in a way where she learns a lesson from it because it's fucked up and it shouldn't work that way.
Can I say something? I think this question that we're asking right now about like what's the driving point of the movie is not just a flaw in Wonder Woman 1984. It is a flaw in Suicide Squad. It is a flaw in Batman versus Superman. It is a flaw in Shazam even. what is the driving point of the movie? What is driving these characters is a theme of a flaw in every single DCEU movie that they've made.
Yep.
With the exception of Birds of Prey. Because it's very clear what they're doing in Birds of Prey.
And Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman's
And Wonder Woman 1.
I think this past Wonder Woman was clear as far as a theme goes, and like people want things. That
No, I
they
mean
can't
the
have
driving
today.
point. Like what drives
What drives the character to do what they're doing.
Weak in every movie. Weak. That's the flaw. The
Yeah.
driving point is
It's
always
there, but it's weak.
there's
Yes.
like almost no driving. Like the driving point in Suicide Squad is that they're going into a mission to go save someone that they don't know who it is or what they're doing it for, and if you don't,
Yeah, that
you're
movie,
gonna die.
that movie sucked.
Weak drive. Like it's just a very there's no juice to it. You know, there's
Yeah.
no juice driving you forward.
I mean, even if
You have the snowflakes falling and the pieces slowly falling out of place for Thanos to come fuck shit up for 12 years before it happens.
Right.
And every single one of these, even if you didn't know what was going on then, all lined up well. And it was very clear where we were going. And it was a very good driving point, Thanos, because he grew up in poverty, thought he was doing the galaxy a service by eliminating half of all living life forms. So now there will be plenty for everybody. So now nobody has to grow up poor like he did.
Right.
Very clear, very strong. And they did it calculated over the course of since Iron Man was 07, 08 until Endgame 2018, 2019. 2019? Endgame was 2019.
Yes.
So you're talking
Back when
12
children were
years.
smiling
And
the
now,
White House wasn't
now
under
Warner
siege.
Brothers and the DCEU jumps on with Man of Steel in 2011.
Mhm.
Yeah, probably about 2000.
So you're 4 years behind the 8 ball, and they had way too much time in between. Like because Man of Steel is 2011,
Actually, it might be 2010.
and then 2010 it might
Yeah.
be. Even then,
Yeah.
3-4 years behind the 8 ball. But Man of Steel is 2010, and then they do Batman vs Superman's the next one they do, right?
Yep. And that was like 2014.
And then they do Suicide Squad,
Mm-hmm.
and then you do
Wonder Woman.
It is
no,
kind of
Justice League.
It's kind of random.
You get
No.
right.
Wonder Woman was first.
Wonder Woman was before Justice League. They took 5 movies to get to here's our big hurrah, where it took how long they had Iron Man 2, Thor,
Captain America.
Captain America 2, the shitty Hulk movie with. They had plenty of time. Each one of these characters, not each one, most of these characters had at least one movie, 90 minutes to flesh them out.
Right.
Scar Joe shows up in Iron Man 2. You get that whole movie to flesh her out a little bit.
Right. Well,
They come in Justice League and Suicide Squad and they're like, here's Harley Quinn, here's Killer Croc, here's this guy, here's that guy. You have no reason to care about them. Let's go. Try to care about them now.
yeah.
Here's Will Smith. Here's fucking Margot Robbie. The rest of these guys we don't give a fuck about, so why should we expect you to give a fuck about them? And here we go. And that's why everything has been rushed from the word go with the DCEU.
And in reality, they should have done
You-
Suicide Squad after Justice League, and Suicide Squad's big bad should have been Will Smith. And that's how you sub Justice.
Suicide Squad's big bad.
I mean, Justice League's big bad should have been Will Smith. If they were to do this right, and you were going to set it up right,
Oh, 100%.
like that's one of the ways you do it. Joker and Harley Quinn, and then you set, and
Why
that's
does
Suicide
everyone in the DC universe seem to have the same moral compass and drive as Captain America? Like no one seems different. I mean, I guess Batman. But
Well, I would
still.
argue that a lot of those heroes were created in the early 40s, and they're based around soldiers, and they were made for soldiers, and so that's a hit.
And it's just made to be like, here's the perfect person.
Yeah, kind of like with Wonder Woman,
Well, I mean, and
Superman.
DC has a couple of DC's got their iffy guys because Slade is not always a bad guy. At some point, he's in the anti-hero role. Deathstroke, Slade Wilson. He's a contract killer.
I think when we were talking
have-
about, were you talking about DC entirely,
Strictly
or just talking?
DCEU.
I was talking about.
I thought you
like,
were more
no, I was talking
Justice
about like
League.
the movies that,
Oh, okay.
that
Yeah.
we know.
That's because
I
the
know.
Justice League guys. That's why they're goody two shoes.
Yeah, but like the Avengers guys are.
Yeah, but
they're
but
like a rat pack.
to be fair,
well, that's the
have-
difference.
Scarlet Witch. Scarlet Witch. Not Scarlet Witch. I'm sorry.
Well, I suppose
Black Widow and Hawkeye. Very, very different from Black Widow and Hawkeye of the comics.
Oh, yeah.
They made the adjustments
Yes.
to make it translate to modern day. Not every character had to be like a ridiculous, over the top comic book character.
Right.
yeah. So I guess what I'm
I mean-
asking
DC could
is,
use
why
a little
is it-
bit of that.
Well, they haven't really introduced those characters like Hawkgirl. Hawkgirl is tough. She's
Hawkgirl's tough to try to modernize though, because Hawkgirl dies and is reborn. Correct me if
I
I'm
don't
wrong,
think
right?
she's reincarnated. Yeah.
Yeah, right. So she's the same person inside of a new vessel every 80 years. So it's very, like I don't know. You think you can modernize that character a la Hawkeye, Clint Barton, special agent, shit like that?
I don't think you're
a different-
modernizing in that sense.
Yeah, it'd be
It's
a
no.
slippery slope.
You're
that
not.
way.
You wouldn't be modernizing in the sense of like I'm gonna make them be, an agent or something like that. No, but you can modernize her in the sense that she'd be like in like her alias, like her what was her name? Kendra Saunders.
Kendra Saunders is one of them.
Yeah, that's the main one. When she's like that, obviously she's a normal modern girl. But when she's Hawkgirl, she is Hawkgirl. Like it's like there's ways of doing
They
it.
did Hawkgirl and Hawkman
Yeah, I
with
didn't.
Kendra Saunders in the Arrowverse, and
I didn't watch that because I didn't really like any of that. I didn't think any of that was very good. Anyway, but personally, but I mean, you could do it in the comics though, and if we look at when we were kids, the Justice League like show, that was your sass. Hawkgirl she brought the sass to it. It was her and Green Lantern, who was the Green Lantern in that one.
was it the black one?
It was, yeah. I can't remember his name. John something.
I always forget.
I can't think of his name, but those were your two sass people. They brought the attitude, they brought the sass. So if you want that in DC, you need to bring in those characters.
Or just change the characters up a little bit, modernize their problems and their little quirks.
Or do that. I mean, honestly,
Like, there's a reason the boys.
John Stewart.
John Stewart, thank you.
The boys is more interesting than DC, even though the characters are pretty much a copy, and that's because the characters are flawed. It's not just because it's rated R. It's not just because Bobby Butcher says the word cunt a lot. It's because
Oh,
these
yeah.
characters have
Billy
fucking
Butcher.
problems. Yes. And
Yeah, you feel something about these characters.
yeah, you have to hate some of them. You hate some things about some of them. Like, imagine Wonder Woman was more like Maeve.
Right, but they tried to do that Man of Steel and they got annihilated for it. That was the whole point of him killing
Which part? The
Zod.
part where
That was
so he was still a goody two shoes in Man of Steel.
he was
Let's
a
be
goody two shoes into Man of Steel, but that was the whole point of like that moment of him making a choice to kill this person was supposed to be like this big moment because he's a goody two shoes. He's not supposed to kill
Was
anyone.
that movie more successful than any of the other movies in the
You mean
universe?
financially or just?
yeah financially?
No, I don't think so.
No,
No, I think Wonder Woman was.
No, yeah, definitely.
really.
Yeah, I think Wonder Woman definitely beat out Man of Steel.
And Shazam.
And Shazam probably beat out Man of Steel too. No, I would. Yeah. I
And
don't
when
think so.
Black
Better,
Adam
'cause I
comes
think
out,
fucking Man of Steel is better than. Well, I haven't seen Shazam, but I think
when Black Adam
Man of
comes
Steel
out
is
and
better
it's
than-
The Rock starring that bitch,
well,
that's gonna set
that's
a new.
different.
What?
That's a different reason. But yeah,
Well, The Rock is playing Black Adam.
I
Black
know.
Adam
That's
is a
the,
Shazam
that's the
character.
different reason I'm
Yeah.
saying.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how they fix this. I
Where
don't
are we
know
at?
about
We
it.
should get close to
We're-
wrapping this
We're
up.
pretty much done at this point. I got nothing else to say. I'm still at a 1.
Do we think Batman's gonna suck? Because I like Robert
No, I
Pattinson.
think
I
Pattinson
actually
might
think
be
it might
good.
be good.
Pattinson. That's a
Pattinson,
good name.
yeah.
Love it,
Pattinson.
Pattinson.
man. I like.
No, I think that actually has potential, especially with Zoe Kravitz.
I wish it would be Terry
I wish it was.
I
Terry
wish it would be
too.
Terry.
Crew.
Terry Crew instead of Bruce Wayne, but it is what it is.
Who's
Yeah.
Terry Crew?
If you remember the
Batman Beyond.
cartoon Batman Beyond from when we were
Oh,
kids,
Yes.
it's Terry.
Slightly.
That's Terry Crew.
Oh, just different names.
It's his is it his grandson or not
No,
related
they're
to
not
him at
related.
all? It's
They're
just
not related.
old man Bruce Wayne becomes like his Alfred, and he becomes the new Batman.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
That's what I'm saying. Old man Bruce Wayne's been. There's a lot of different incarnations. of
Yeah,
him.
there's
There's
old
a
man
lot.
Bruce is sick too, and they were kind of trying to go for that with
I know,
Batfleck. Yeah,
but it didn't work.
didn't work.
Okay.
All right, well
Final thoughts.
that's our show.
Cool. Hope you like.
Are you still at a 4?
No, I think I shrunk down to like a 3.25.
There you
Okay.
go.
Yeah.
Still at a 2-1.
I'm still just giving it a 1 for showing up. Don't ask for more from me at this point.
That was Wonder Woman 1984. Peace.
Be better.
Hey guys, thanks for listening to the show, whatever movie it was about. This is a generic pre-recorded outro, but we hope you had fun. We sure do. Thanks for listening. See you next week.
And the only prescription is more cowbell. We will not go quietly into the night.
Stay gold, pony boy.
I will not die sober. Get those